Hey everybody, this is another exciting installation of Evan's Easy Japanese. This is probably number 6 or something like that, I forget. Look above you. Well, let's see, if I'm right here, then the number should be right around here. That should give you the real number of what episode we're on. More hiragana. There should only be this lesson and one more, maybe another one after that, regarding hiragana. And you might be bored with hiragana already. However, it's very important. Once again, it's pronunciation, very important stuff here. And not only that, it's also the base writing system for the entire language. When I'm actually explaining grammar and teaching you guys new words in the future, I might not use romaji, the English letters like this. I might not be using romaji. I'll probably be using hiragana, and I might even accidentally use some kanji. I'll try to remind myself to not use kanji you don't know, but I make mistakes. This is a lot easier in a classroom because the students, whenever I do something stupid, can go, "Evan, you're doing something stupid," so then I can be like, "Oh, alright, good call." Then I can change it. Once again, that's what the comment section is for, so I can address those issues. Word. Here we are, we're going into the R row, the raw row, and the last row. It's kind of considered like the W row, but it's not really. We'll deal with that. Anyway, once again, you hear me snore like that because I have allergies. And they suck. Alright, this is rude, but most Americans are aware of the stereotypical, slanderous Asian thing where I say it like I do this. Well, you know, as you're growing up, you always hear the stereotypical Asian person talking. And the joke is that the L's sound like R's, and the R's sound like L's. So, I don't know, the word really sounds more like leery, something like that. It's a horrible joke. I mean, don't get me wrong, I laugh at it sometimes. What am I gonna do? I'm human. But we're going to explain why that is. In fact, before we do this, actually, you want to know, before we do this, I want to explain how to pronounce the word. Alright, so here comes a freaky drawing of a dude's face. So when we do an R in English, if that's your nose, that's your lip, and you have teeth or whatever, it looks freaky. That's your mouth cavity, like we hacked you in half, like down the middle, and there's your this thing. I don't know, that's your neck. Your eyeball might be right there. Freaky looking. Alright, maybe you have a pierced ear. Yay! I don't know. Fungus growing out. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just being weird. If that's your mouth, the English R is actually, your tongue kind of goes like this. It wraps around. And yeah, tongues are kind of freaky to look at, but they exist, and that's how we make noises. That's what your mouth is doing. You've trained yourself so well from an early age to be able to do these crazy mouth gymnastics. And when you make an R sound, your tongue is literally, well, it might not seem too amazing, but your tongue is actually curling back. If you pronounce R appropriately, the R is, your tongue is literally curled back in your mouth. Just like this little dude right here. Now for the letter L, we're not playing video games, these aren't the LR buttons. For the letter L, that's your nose, that's your mouth, I don't know, there's your teeth or whatever. You look like a weirdo. Alright, there's your ear, you got another piercing, we'll make it something cool, I don't know, with a smiley face on it. Alright, you have an eyeball. Alright, this is your mouth opening. Like, once again, if you got hacked in half down the middle and you were able to see inside your mouth, just try it out yourself. What is your mouth doing when you make the L sound? Just go, L, L. Lucky lady will lose all her lovely, I don't know, lovers, I don't know, lol, 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 lol. Your mouth is actually a little bit open. So we're going to put a little gap there. Notice that little gap, ol. And your tongue kind of just sticks right there. And maybe even closes off that right there. Yes, your tongue does go down into your esophagus, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it doesn't, actually. I guess I'm not a doctor. Anyway, it goes pretty far back there. We'll just leave it at that. And you put your tongue right there and you go, oh, la li lu la lo, la 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 la. And here we have the R, ra ri ru re ro, la li lu la lo. The Japanese R sound, it's not actually an R sound. It's in between here. See, this is the R, and then the L would be right there. So if you move your tongue kind of, sort of in between them, I'll get a better drawing. If you move your tongue somewhat in between them, that's kind of actually how you're making the Japanese ra sound. So, here's your head. My wife's gonna come home and see these images. Well, actually, I'm probably gonna erase them, but people always think these look freaky. And people are always like, oh, what are you drawing on the board? It looks scary. Yeah, it does. So those are your teeth in the front. Your tongue's kind of more sort of in the middle. Ra-dee-doo-de-ro, ra-dee-doo-de-ro. Maybe even a little bit higher. Maybe there's a small curve in it. Ra-dee-doo-de-ro, ra-dee-doo-de-ro, ra-dee-doo-de-ro. It's a very soft R sound or a very hard L sound. Well, not even a hard L sound. It's a very, very soft R sound. Ra-dee-doo-de-ro, ra-dee-doo-de-ro. If you use this R sound to pronounce English words, riri, it does sound horribly stereotypical Asian. I love you, riri. You know, it's horrible to say that, but that's actually what that sound is. This sound doesn't exist in the English language, but it sounds so close to sounds that we're used to that it sounds like people are mispronouncing the things that we're used to, but it's actually a completely different sound. Your mouth is doing something different. So next time you hear one of those horrible racist jokes, I mean, I'm not going to say it's okay to laugh at it, but Lord knows I can't stop you. At least you're going to understand what's actually happening. Anyway, back to hiragana. We have our ah, I, U. I always do that to myself. I always think I have more room than I actually do, and then the O gets cut off. Ah, I, U, O. Starting with the R. Can you still see me? I'm not sure if I'm in the screen. Anyway, the Ra. Ra-dee-doo-de-ro. Ra. Ichi, ni. Kind of like that. That's pretty ugly, but that's basically what it looks like. Ichi, ni. Ichi, ni. That's Ra. Ra-dee-doo-de-ro. Ri. Ichi. Hook. There's a hook there. Ni. Ri. Ri. Ru. Looks like a 3 with the curlicue. Ri. Flat, down, come up, loopity. It's all one stroke. Ri. Oh, sorry, Ru. Sorry, Ru. Ru. That's a Ru. R-U. Ru. Ra. Ri. Ru. Re. This one looks like the ne that we did a while ago. Re. Goes like ichi. Curls like that. Ichi. Ni. I draw my res a little bit weird. I'll show you how I draw them. Ichi, ni. 1. It kind of goes through there, comes down, and I think it's supposed to actually loop out, and then it comes up. Re. Let me draw a nice properly drawn one. Ichi, ni. Re. 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 Ro! Last one looks just like Ru, but without the curlicue. Ro. Ro. Ichi. Ichi, ni. Ichi, ni. Ichi. Ichi, ni. Ichi. 1 strokes. Mostly 1 and 2 strokes. I don't know if I'm still in the camera. It's probably better if I'm not in the camera because I'm ugly. Alright. Here's the wa. I just dropped my marker. Marker cap. The wa-ro. Not really a wa-ro. However, wa is a sound that we have. Everyone, wa. Just like wash your clothes. Wa, 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 water. Wa, wa, wa. What you up to? I don't know. Anyway, wa. Looks very similar to re. Ichi, ni. But it curls in. Just for reference, ne looked like this. had a curly Q. Remember I said that the N row was kind of curly? Well, it's true. Ne is curly, re scoops out, and wa scoops in. This is wa. The other W sound that's inside of the row, it's not really a row, is generally the wo sound, o. It's pronounced o. O, just like our other O from the first row, O. This is a different O. It goes 1, 2, 3. This is an important one to know. You're going to be using it a lot. Let me draw that a little bit better because that looks kind of stupid. Ichi, ni, san. O, o, o. It's written W-O in Romaji sometimes, and sometimes it's written as an O. And you're going to say, geez, how do I know how I should write it? If you're using a keyboard, it's W-O. If you're writing it in just straight old Romaji, you're probably going to use the O. Anyway, ichi, ni, san. This is very important because it is a particle. We haven't discussed those yet, but if you know what a particle is, or you have a basic understanding, it's one of them. So it's a very important one. Last but not least, generally when you write the hiragana row, you draw the last one, which is pronounced n, just like the letter N, just underneath O, and it goes ichi. And this is really just an N sound. Ichi. Ichi. I just messed up my board. Alright, that's the N. So, ra, ri, ru, re, ro, wa, o, n. Alright, I'm pretty sure the next lesson is going to be compounds using hiragana. We taught you the entire chart, which I'll show you in the next episode, the entire chart altogether. And there's lots of things you can do with it because there are more sounds than just these 46. For example, kya, kyu, kyo, rya, ryu, ryo, and totteiru and stuff like that. We're going to get to that. Have a great day.